Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode on a mother's journey to holistic health and healing. We are now on episode 43. Wow, I can't believe that. Going through all the shifts in season together. Thank you so much for being here today. And thought this is going to be a short and sweet episode. Kind of just want to get into some updates. How are you feeling? How I'm feeling now that the seasons are changing, right? Now we're heading into, we are in fall now. Although it doesn't feel like it because in El Paso, Texas, it's still like summer. You're still wearing tanks and shorts and still drinking cold stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about that. Like, how can we adjust to the colder seasons? How do we tend to our health holistically, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? And so I'm going to be challenging you to do the same as well. So how are you guys doing? How are your mamas out there doing? I hope you are doing well. I hope you're staying healthy, hopefully avoiding the bugs that are out there, whether they're stomach bugs, because those are rough, and colds and flus. I've got my son home from school on break now, and my girls are here. I got my mom helping out. So it probably will hear some crying or laughing or screaming or I don't know what in the background, cartoons, because we are leaving for a little vacation, a little road trip on Sunday coming up. I'm pre-recording this on, what is today? Thursday, October 2nd. So this is going to be released on Tuesday, Tuesday? The 7th. And so I'm pre-recording this so I can have an episode out for you as we'll be on our little road trip. We're taking a little road trip out to Arizona. My son loves the desert and desert animals. So we're going to check out some of the really cool zoo museums that they have out there, desert museums, hiking trails, parks. We're going to stop to the Gila National Forest, the catwalk. If you haven't gone there, it's really cool. The girls haven't been there. We're going to camp out there. Let's see how that goes. I don't have much plans other than what we have planned out for us in Tucson. And then on our way back, stop in Albuquerque at some of the botanical gardens, aquariums, zoos, things like that. But when we get out there, it's kind of just like, let's just see where we go after we rented out an Airbnb and for a few nights. And then from there, we're just going to kind of see how we feel. Do we want to go drive up further, like towards the Grand Canyon, or do we want to come back? So we're just going to kind of give ourselves space to see how we feel, I guess. So I wanted to pre-record this episode and kind of just share with you a little bit about that. So kind of like, I guess, planning, like, how do you feel about planning trips? Like, when you plan trips, how does it make you feel? Like, I know for me, it brings up a little bit of like worry and like a little bit of stress in terms of like, you got to do the planning. Where are we going to stay? What food are we going to take? What clothes are we going to wear? Like, we have to kind of do all that pre-planning, right? Of the ahead of time. Like, is a car serviced, right? So there's all these like little things. Like, the big idea of going on a trip and a road trip is fun. But at the same time, like, it's hard work, right? How many can relate? It's hard work. There's a lot that goes into it. Especially if you have a lot of kids. You have to pack for your little kids. You have to keep them distracted on the road trip. So it's crazy. It can be a lot. So for me, what's helping me so that it doesn't seem overwhelming is I try to do a little bit of the shopping earlier ahead of time. And this is for like things to keep them distracted around the road. So some things that I found at Five and Below, I found some really cool, my son is 7, so I found some really cool games he could do like while we're on the road. There's one of them has like a little self-reflection where he can write down what city we're in, write down what animals he sees, like what kind of different license plates he sees when we're on the road. Just has a lot of really different activities. I think I got that for like $3. I got the girls some Bluey like activity pads. Of course, the ones that have you put the little water in that are not marker, because my girls are in the stage where they like to cover their face and their arms of marker. And they look like little tattoo artists because they're like covered in markings. So that was a no. Is just like getting those things that are at least messy free. I need to go buy one of those lap desks so we can put their snacks and food on there. And so just kind of my one tip is like, see where you can go to like those stores where, whether it's like the the Family Dollar or like a Dollar Tree or like anything like that, where you could find some of those little really cool activity books, things that crafts, things that they can do while they're in their seat on like a little lap desk. And so I've been able to find those, which is really cool. And some activities we could play when we're driving. Like I think one of them is called Guess in 10, which they have one for animals where it's kind of like they tell you a description of whether it's an animal or a dinosaur, and you kind of just guess what animal it is or what dinosaur it is. So that's going to be really great for my son because he's doing really good with his reading. So it's going to be really great for him to kind of reinforce that. We can do our best to plan, although it might not always go fully to plan like we hope it does, right? And the same goes for food, right? The next thing, like for me, everything's always left up to me for the food. And of course, why not? Like I'm the coach, I'm the dietitian, like I'm the mom, obviously, right? For me, that's like what I'm used to doing. So for me, for their snacks and things like that, I've got lots of fruit. I've got, those little cuties. I've got oranges. I've got apples. I've got lots of fruit that I'm going to have washed and ready and our ice chest. I've got things like hummus. I've got trail mixes. I've got jerky. I've made some really great like homemade kind of energy / granola bars, if you want to call them, that I've like really fallen in love with, that my husband loves and I love, and they're so filling, instead of buying our own because they've just gotten so expensive. And I've actually also found a lot of pleasure and joy in making our own, surprisingly, because I guess now I have more energy too, whereas before I wanted to, but I just didn't have the energy, right? I was just still in survival mode and still just didn't have that physical energy to do so, or mentally. And so so I have kind of like the snacks, and then of course maybe some little small bags of potato chips, like the little small snack bags for the kids as well. So I need to go buy some drinks, like little juice boxes for them, waters, fig bars we have. So really it's kind of like that's how we get we do for our snacks, little baby carrots, things that are easy for them to eat as well. And that's usually what I stick to. I also always keep like peanut butter and jelly and bread, because I need to make some quick peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, because that's really quick and easy. And I know they'll eat that, and it's, balanced meal. And as far as like on our camping trip, I'm planning for burgers. I'm planning for some fruits, lots of fruits, because with my kids, they can never go wrong with fruit. And then I'll have like a small veggie tray or something like that. We just keep it simple. We take our s'mores. We'll take some hot dogs for my son because he loves those. And we just keep it simple. Just to really, it's like making the experience, right? Sometimes I feel like that's one thing we get too caught up in, is like all those little small details. But at the end of the day, they're not going to really notice that. They're going to just be really so into like their environment. They're going to want to explore. They're going to want to go on the trails. They're going to want to see what's around, what's different. Like, let's go explore. Let's go be curious. So I think that's what just talking about it is kind of like a nice reminder. Like, hey, let's slow down. Let's take a deep breath. And let's not get so caught up in those small details. While yes, they are important and do matter, everything is going to be okay, and that we're doing enough. And it's going to be fine, right? Because the more that we go down this rabbit hole of, is this going to be enough? Or what about this and that? Having a list is helpful to help you stay organized and maybe get the things that you want and want to take with you on the trip. The necessities, of course. And at the same time, also, we don't want to burn ourselves out. So I guess those would be some tips that I would share that's helped me. If any of this is resonating with you and you find any of it helpful, right? Take what you need, take what you find helpful, leave what doesn't. Make a list, get what you can early on ahead of time. Snacks, road trip activities, where you're going to stay, right? Doing all that ahead of time, so that way you have more or less an idea. And thank goodness for GPS, because we'd be so lost. I mean, we have our maps, but nowadays we rely on that so much. So that's going to be our little trip. I'm really looking forward to it. My son's really looking forward to getting out to the desert over there and see what kind of animals they have out over there, and going on some hiking trails. And so that'll be really fun. A nice little road trip, little getaway. It's our girls' first long distance road trip. So let's see how they do, and just praying that, we get over there and come back safely. So I'll be doing a little prayer. I like to do my little energy cleansing with the car. So I'll definitely smudge my car inside and out and say a prayer as well, before we head out on our trip. And I'll also be smudging our home space, not our home space, but our temporary home space from where we'll be staying at. So that's another tip that I would share, is that wherever you are staying, whether it's in a hotel or whether it's in a Airbnb, a Vrbo kind of a thing, right? Wherever anybody stayed previously, we want to clear their energy, clear out any kind of energy that we don't want to absorb or be around, just have it cleared. And so one of my favorite ways to do that is with any kind of smudging, whether it's with Palo Santo, something I can take that's portable and not going to take up a lot of space. So Palo Santo or sage or copal or some type of incense, anything like that. So I'll be taking those with me to clear the house, cleanse the house, the areas, the corners, the rooms, just saying a little prayer. And always really nice, really important to cleanse the space. So that's another tip, right? That'll clear out any energetic energies that we don't want to bring back with us, and just to clear out. So I'm going to be doing that as well. And yeah, and just trying to be in the moment, really. So that's a little bit of an update there that I wanted to share of what's going on here with me and my family. I wanted to get into talking about, now that we're in the fall season, right? And although, like I said, it doesn't always feel like it, depending on where we're at, where we're living, you start to think about, at least now that I am no longer so much in survival mode anymore, my nervous system, I have much more calmer and more at peace. I'm able to have more clarity, more energy to self-reflect and think about things. And so, and as the seasons, as now that we're in the fall, and I'm starting to reflect more about, how do I feel and what changes might I need to make or shifts as the seasons approach, now that fall is here. And so I challenge you to do the same, right? Now that the fall is coming, what do you think about now that the fall is here? I keep thinking now that the fall is coming. Now that fall is here, what does the cooler weather, what does fall mean to you? Are there any emotions, any feelings associated? Do you start to notice some depression or feelings or thoughts of, kind of some darker thoughts, or feeling down? Do you start to notice some grief? Or is it more of like joy? Like it's a really fun time for you and your family where you like to enjoy a lot of outdoor activities, right? So just kind of throwing that out there to think about, how do I feel about the fall? And what do I notice about how I feel physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? During this time, the fall is basically like we are invited to slow down a bit more. When we think about nature, the animals, the birds, the insects, they start to retreat back into, whether it's like their burrows or underneath the ground for hibernation, right? That's one thing that my son's like, oh, I'm going to miss the spring and summer because I'm going to miss all the cicadas and this and that, and he understands. That was for him like a bit of a grieving time, because he was actually crying. He loves those bugs so much, and it made him sad to realize he wasn't going to be able to catch them and like go looking for them. And so sometimes like that also brings grief. Certain times of the season, it's when they come to an end and new seasons come to a beginning. So there's also that ending and beginning, or death and rebirth. So yeah, as the fall's here, let's think about how we can nourish ourselves, whether it's in a new way or maybe something that you've always done. Like I said, mentally, for your mental health. Maybe you said you always wanted to journal, but you just haven't really done it. Maybe this is going to be the time, the year. Think about why it's important to you. What could you journal about? Anything, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe it's knowing yourself more emotionally, giving yourself space to, when you feel heaviness, that you want to cry, you let yourself cry, that you put a hand on your heart, that you learn new techniques for emotional healing, for coping with your emotions, like maybe tapping or maybe working with a therapist or another kind of healer for energy healing. And physically, right? Are there specific foods in your diet that you feel aren't serving you, that you're like, okay, maybe I don't need to be having these as much anymore during this time of the season because of the way it makes me feel? Can you notice how you feel when you have more warmer, comforting, home-cooked meals, traditional meals that uplift your spirit? It's like so soothing, this, whether it's a soup or stew, whatever home-cooked warm meal, that it just like fills your heart with memories. And maybe less of like the eating out from fast foods, for example. And then spiritually, where do you feel like in your spiritual health and your spiritual being could use some attention? Is it connecting with your own self and doing self-reflection? Is it connecting with nature, spending more time outside? Is it connecting with the plants? Like, that's been a huge one for me this year, a huge one for me in my spiritual health and my spiritual journey, has been not only with learning to connect with the spirit realm, but also with plants and the energies and spirit of plants. And learning about them, of course, herbal remedies and plant medicines and things I can create here at home. And that's also how I've been not only nurturing my spiritual health in that way, but also creativity. And it's also been very heart-opening for me and very joyful. I've been finding so much joy in it as well. Maybe that's another thing, right? In terms of your spiritual health, like what else brings me joy? Or what else could I do to try that could bring me joy? Is it maybe going out to different social events? That's also something I did this year that I hadn't done before. I went to a social event by myself, something I'd never done. Is it meeting new people, surrounding yourself with new people who have similar interests as you? So again, just kind of thinking outside of the box to seeing, okay, this fall, what are some things that I find interesting? What interests me? What lights me up? What excites me? What am I curious about? What do I want to know more of? Right? And just by asking yourself kind of these questions, because I have a lot of moms that I work with that don't know what that is for them. And there's no shame and no judgment in that. It's just that we get so lost in motherhood, so focused in it, taking care of our family, that we often are literally put on the back burner. And so you can take care of your children and yourself too, just by doing small things. It's just the getting started that can be tricky. And that's where someone like me comes in, or another coach or a healer or a therapist, right? Who's here to support you with getting started. Because literally sometimes the ideas of the things that we want to do are there, but it's the before part, what you need to do to get started, to start doing those things. The barriers that lay in front of that. And that's where I come in, or people similar as me in this work. That's what we do. Help guide you through some of those challenges. Yeah, so think about how can you create some like cozy, warming routines as the cooler weather comes in, right? Whether it's for reflection, maybe gentle movement. Maybe you're noticing that as the weather gets cooler, or around your moon time, like your menstrual cycle, you're feeling not as energetic. And so you do some type of movement that's less impact, that's less intense, that's more grounding, like maybe walks, maybe stretching or yoga, maybe some light Pilates, or anything really where you feel like you're just moving your body a little bit more gentle, in a gentle way. And also, tuning into how you feel energetically. Maybe you've got invitations to go, your friends are telling you to meet you here, or your family's telling you to go, let's go over here or here or there, let's check this out or that. But you're just not filling up for it energetically. You're feeling really tired and exhausted for some reason. And the thought of going out there just feels like impossible. And you know that you really don't want to go, right? Maybe it's setting up, enforcing those boundaries that you have instead of the people pleasing, right? Putting in those boundaries for your self-care to protect your energy. So That's also something that you can think about as the cooler weather comes in, is how can I protect my energy as the cooler months arrive? That's going to serve me. What will I be able to do then if I have that energy? Where do I want to use that energy towards? Are you drinking more herbal teas and writing in your journal? Is that what that looks like for you? Or is it cuddling up with your kiddos, reading books or playing games, watching movies with your partner? Is it going for some outdoor nature walks? Is it listening to music that makes you feel good and relaxes you, right? So just kind of thinking about, again, what helps you to kind of slow down. And I think that we get like there's like this distorted belief about slowing down. Because if we're slowing down, quote unquote, you're not productive enough, or you're not being productive, or you're failing at this or that. And so sometimes it can feel like when we slow down, this is how it is for me, or when I was like starting to slow down, doing things with more intention, that I wasn't going to keep up, right? We have this idea that if I slow down, I won't be able to keep up with everything. And we actually find that by slowing down or in the stillness, that's where the peace is. It may feel awkward at first, but you notice that's where the actual peace is. And it just takes time, especially if you're not used to it. So I do want to share that if you're not used to, quote unquote, slowing down, doing things more slowly, that's an invitation, right? That could be a sign of invitation where that's something you can practice, even if it's just washing your hands more slowly, washing the dishes more slowly, cutting up your food a little more slowly, vacuuming a little more slowly, sweeping or cleaning, anything like that. Just go at the pace that you're moving a little bit more slowly. Like, can you go slower just a little bit? And then you'll notice little by little, you'll start to notice the shifts in your body. You'll start to notice the tension release in your body. You'll start to notice that you'll feel a bit more calmer, not as anxious, just with practice. That's what's helped me a lot. These past couple years, I think it's been the past 2-3 years when I intentionally made the decision to really start focusing on my growth, my spirituality, my shadows, what I wanted to work on, being intentional. That's what's really helped. And I'm not perfect. And of course, there's going to be my days where I am doing things fast and quick because it has to get done quick, right? So I'm just saying it's a practice. And practice, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. So I do want to emphasize that. It's not about perfection. Practice to make progress, not to make perfection. Because there is no such thing. So yeah, I ask you, what is one small shift you want to make this season to tend to whether it's your body, like your physical body, your mind, or your spirit? What's one small shift that you want to make? And if you're having a difficult time coming up with something, feel free to send me a message. Send me a message on Instagram, DM me. If you want to work together, send me a message and we'll see what we can work out. Yeah, so I hope this season is going to be a chance for you to slow down and to soften into, your authentic self. That you don't always have to be on go, go, go mode all the time, even though it does really seem like that with all our kids' activities and things like that. Think about what you can do for yourself to help you slow down. Release what's not serving you. Invite more peace and balance into your being. Because that's something I'm continuing to focus on as the seasons change. It's been really beautiful to kind of just reflect on how the seasons change in terms of we notice about the plants and the trees, the leaves shedding and falling. We're also the same. We think about what can we shed within us that's not serving us, right? Just a really beautiful time for self-reflection. I feel like the fall and the winter times is a really beautiful time for self-reflection. So that way come the spring, you have a bit more clarity and space and energy to rise into what is birthing into into that season, and what you've worked on from the past months, what you've healed and worked on, and embracing and embodying the new growth. So I hope that makes sense. Just wanted to share that, and I hope you're all doing well, you and your family. And yeah, if you want to share if you have a healing journey that you want to share, a story that you like to share on the podcast, and you feel like you've been through a lot, you've learned a lot through it, and you feel it will inspire some other mamas, send me a message as well, or email me if you want to talk about it, maybe joining, coming onto the podcast and sharing your story with other mamas as well, to inspire and uplift them and see what's possible. So yeah, thank you all for joining me today. And again, as the season shifts, I hope you give yourself permission to shift with it, to think about how you could create space for more rest or stillness or slowness, for nourishment, and whatever way that feels, that calls to you. And for whatever your body, your heart, and your spirit are calling for. If we slow down and if we're more quiet and give ourselves some quiet space, we then start to hear those nudges or whispers. So yeah, if today's episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with another mama or friend who might need this reminder too. And yeah, I'm wishing you a peaceful, grounded season ahead. I will see you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.